scenes. Does he say it's all worth seeing? Or just some dream? Bob's Movie Review, gonna tell us what's true. Bob's Movie Review, got opinions to view.
Hello movie lovers! As always, I hope you do enjoy the video. Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I'd like to review a movie I just watched in theaters called Here. Here, Sony Pictures' newest release directed by the legendary Robert Zemeckis, this film is something entirely original and fascinating. Rather than following a person or a group of people, the central focus is a single location, a place that quietly witnesses the passage of time, from prehistoric eras to present day and beyond. It stars Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, two powerhouse actors, and they each bring a sense of humanity and depth to a film that's truly a visual and conceptual journey. So let's get into what makes Here such a remarkable experience. Imagine this: instead of following a character arc or linear plot, the camera essentially sits on a tripod in one location and captures millions of years passing by. We start in prehistoric times, back when dinosaurs roamed, and the ground was untouched by civilization. As time progresses, we see the land changing, and eventually a house is built on the spot. From that point, the story, or stories, really begin to take shape as different families move in and out, bringing their own lives, memories, and experiences to this one spot. The neat thing about Here is how it captures these transformations, not only in terms of architecture and design, but in the stories of the people who occupy the space. Each moment we see adds a layer to the history of this single room, which serves as both a silent witness and an anchor for everything that happens around it. Over time, we see echoes of different lives that have passed through, families who grew up here, others who left, and so on. But instead of telling these stories in a linear way, the film constantly jumps between different eras. One moment we're in the Victorian era with people dressed in elaborate costumes, and the next it's a modern family sitting on the same sofa, living their lives. This jumpy nonlinear approach adds an intriguing sense of mystery and unpredictability, even though it can be a bit disorienting at times. Occasionally you may find yourself trying to piece together what happened to which family, or to figure out how different moments are related. But that's part of the experience Zemeckis has crafted. He's asking us to look at the bigger picture, to understand the house's layered history, and to appreciate the transient nature of each moment. It's almost like a montage of life stories that reflect how different family generations and personalities contribute to the history of a place, even though their time there might feel insignificant on its own. Visually, Here is truly a treat. Zemeckis uses some very creative techniques to keep us visually engaged, even though the setting barely changes in terms of physical space. Sometimes we see different time periods overlaid in the same frame, so you might see a scene from the 1800s subtly blend into one from the 1950s, or a character from one era appearing almost like a ghost beside someone from a completely different time. It's an effect that could easily feel confusing, but in this film it serves to emphasize the core message: time is fluid, and although people come and go, the place remains. Let's talk about Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. They bring such warmth and depth to their roles as Richard and Margaret, two characters we see recurring throughout the film. Their performances ground the story emotionally, giving it a sense of continuity, even when other aspects feel surreal or abstract. Hanks in particular has this subtle gravitas that works perfectly here. He's not just playing a character, he's embodying a sense of presence and memory. Wright complements this beautifully with a quiet resilience that feels timeless, almost like she could belong to any era. One of the things that really resonated with me was the way the film quietly highlights the passage of time without making a big show of it. It's almost as if the film is saying that things will change whether we're ready for it or not. Generations come and go, families make memories, relationships unfold, and yet time doesn't stop or slow down for anyone. It's a message that feels both profound and a little bittersweet, reminding us of our own fleeting nature within the grand scheme of things. Now, if I had to point out a potential drawback, it would be that the nonlinear storytelling can make it tricky to keep track of specific storylines. Some scenes blend into one another, and it can become difficult to tell who belongs to which time period or what ultimately happens to certain characters. For some, this might create a bit of a barrier to fully connecting with the individual stories. However, I personally felt this added to the film's unique charm. The ambiguity and layered storytelling make Here feel more like a piece of art than a traditional movie, which is refreshing. Finally, I want to mention the ending without giving away too much. Wraps up the film in a simple yet incredibly poignant way. It's not a grand or complex conclusion, but beautifully encapsulates the entire message of the film, that time, place, and memory are intertwined, each impacting the other, but ultimately leaving us with just the sense of a fleeting moment. It's very satisfying and emotional ending that I think will stick with audiences long after they leave the theater. So, my final take on Here. This is a film that really pushes the boundaries of conventional storytelling with stellar performances by Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, inventive visuals, and thought-provoking structure. Here feels like a cinematic experience rather than just a story. It has heart, originality, and artistry. And while it may be a little challenging for those who prefer straightforward narratives, it's definitely worth a watch if you're in the mood for something that makes you think and feel. I'm giving Here a solid 4 out of 5. It's a remarkable film that's as moving as it is imaginative. Thanks for joining me for this review. Let me know if Here caught your interest or if you're planning to see it. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review. I'll see you next time.
I've been wondering Bob's thoughts on the latest blockbuster scenes. Does he say it's all worth seeing? Or just some